The nodding girl continued to exceed the limits of her body's chemical tolerance long enough to giggle again and say something to an equally loaded friend through what sounded like a mouthful of highly glutinous mush. Me, I just took a sip on my very old Diet Coke and a stiff at my even older purple t-shirt and wondered how long it would be before everybody stopped thinking I was a cop. It was 3 a.m. at Tommy's Okie Burger, and all was as well as it was going to get. A little earlier, the clatter of silverware 2 bright orange tables away had announced the fact that a skinhead in black leather had hit the bottom of the curve on downers. He'd bounced twice on the cement floor, and the mountain had hauled him into the men's room to be treated to a refreshing dip in the toilet. A girl had broken out in bugs that no one else could see, and the mountain had sprayed her with an imaginary can of Raid to calm her down. It worked. The LAPD cruised slowly by every 15 minutes or so, one of them checking out the girls and trying to keep his tongue from hanging out the window, while the other one drove. They switched seats and tongues on alternate passes. To protect and to serve, the mountain read off the side of the squad car, mopping down the table with a malodorous rag that might have been a recycled mummy wrapping. Who they protecting, you think? Each other, I said. To my great relief, my Diet Coke had finally dried up. I pushed the empty cup away as though it had contained uranium. And who they serving? The mountain picked up the empty cup and rattled it, and then snapped the rag at a fly guilty of being out after curfew. A vaguely cheesy and thoroughly unwholesome smell spread its leprous wings beneath my nose. They're not serving Diet Coke, I said, fanning the vapor away. And you're not either, not if you've got any pity in your soul. God, there must be something else to drink in this dump. The mountain lowered his voice. Don't spread it around, he said, narrowing his eyes conspiratorially. But I could offer you Diet Pepsi. And anyway, what do plainclothes cops care? On the whole, I liked the mountain. He 86 people with style, and he rarely held a grudge. I'd been hanging around the Okie Burger 4 days, and I told him at least 12 times that I wasn't a cop. I told him again now, scratching at my chin. My carefully cultivated 4-day beard itched. The mountain gave me a knowing look and wiped his face with the damn mummy wrap, making my skin crawl. Nobody as grungy as you isn't a cop, he said. Why don't you go to Jack's? They're not as sharp there. You might pass for a human. I knew good advice when I heard it. I hauled my backside off the hardest wooden bench this side of bankruptcy court and headed for Jack's. Jack's Triple Burgers is on Hollywood, near La Brea, and Tommy's Okie Burger is on Fountain, near Fairfax. It's easy to map the physical geography. They're about 1.5 miles apart, and Jack's is farther north and east than Tommy's. But the emotional geography is more subtle. It had taken me a couple of days to figure out that Tommy's got the new runaways, and Jack's got the old hands. The drugs of choice in Tommy's are downers, mainly codeine and other painkillers. But at Jack's, nobody screws around with anything you don't enjoy at the sharp point of a needle. The occasional exceptions in both places are freebasers, folks whose idea of a day at the beach is a water pipe filled with a brain-jolting mixture of cocaine and ether, and occasionally PCP. The freebasers are rare in both establishments, though. Cocaine makes you alert and jumpy. By and large, both Tommy's and Jack's cater to a crowd that puts a high value on anesthesia. The other difference is that the boys and girls at Tommy's sometimes say no to a straight. He has to be pretty repulsive and not very prosperous looking, and he's probably asking for something that would stun the Marquis de Sade, but the kids will say no. The boys and girls at Jack's don't. At Jack's, just say no is a punchline. To get to Jack's, I took the streets no one knows are there. Between Santa Monica and Hollywood Boulevards, there runs a network of narrow, pinched little avenues, paved when cars were smaller, and lined on either side by small houses, mostly stucco, built in the 30s. They were dark now, most of them, tucked away behind weedy lawns, climbing roses, and chained dogs. Here and there lights spilled through a window, and at one point I heard the sad strains of Brahms's Double Concerto. There were few families. Most of the children in these neighborhoods come and go at the night, passing back and forth between the boulevards where the money is, looking at the houses from the wrong side of the chain-link fences. I'd parked Sweet Alice, my car, in Cherokee, about half